If you're on a flight and they say, doctor here, you can raise your hand up. But before then, you can't. And then after that, you then decide what specialty. So I decided to do family doctor. In Canada, it's 2 years, 3 years. England is either 3 or 4 years. So most of the places average is 3 years to become a family doctor. And that's because you're a generalist. You just have to know a little bit about everything else and be able to, treat code, common code. If once things start to get a bit too much in the one field, so I'll give you an example. Somebody comes to me, somebody's having a chest pain, somebody's having a chest pain here now. Okay, and chest is serious, they're sweating, I think they have a heart attack. I can recognize that straight away, but right here and now, I won't be able to do everything, even though I know what to do, I won't be able to do the entire thing. So I will then ship them up to a specialist, somebody that has more specialty in that field, they call cardiologist, okay, and then they will sort them out. So if you want to go into a specialty, you have to do a bit more training. So general practice is 3-4 years. But then say you want to do things like, I was talking about brain surgery, for example, you want to become a neurosurgeon. You're looking at another 6 years. But it's doable, right? Don't feel that to become a specialist in one field, you're looking at at least 10 years of study. But it can be done. I've done it, so I'll show you.
So you're basically saying 5 years of school, a couple of years of internship, and then if you go into a specialist, maybe another 3 to 5 years?
3 to 6 years.
3 to 6 years, yeah. So it's a long haul, but when you get out, you're making decent cash. and you're helping people.
Well, you want to impact on the internship.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think the nurse, sorry, your name, she wanted to talk about nursing and tell us a little bit about the different fields of nursing that you could go into.
Yeah, just going to talk about nursing. I don't know if somebody here wants to be a nurse, registered nurse, no? Really? Nobody?
Any nurses? Guys can be nurses too?
Yeah.
Guys or girls?
Yeah, anytime somebody asks me, tell me, oh, I don't know what I want to do, usually I recommend nursing. not because I'm a nurse, just because nursing is very, very diversified. Many people do not know that. In nursing, you can be a teacher, like you can teach other people to become a nurse, working at the university or at college. You can be a teacher going to school, teaching kids how to wash their hands, talking about sexually transmitted disease, talking about tobacco, smoking, those type of things. You can be a nurse and work in a research center. You can be a nurse and just be working on telephone, answering people's questions about all the health questions they have. You can be a nurse working in a family doctor office. You can be a nurse working at the hospital in emergency. You can be a nurse working only with babies. You can be a nurse working only with premature babies. You can be a nurse working with elderly. So it's so diversified. So if you get bored working with elderly people, you can start to go and work with premature babies. If you tired of working at the hospital, you can start to work with public health. Like talking about prevention, talking about different diseases, you can start to go and work, I don't know, different places. So it's so diversified. And with the nursing program, when you graduate, you actually graduate with a Bachelor in Science. So if later in life you decide that you don't want to be a nurse anymore, you can always start to get everything you have learned into your nursing program.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, yeah. So you should really consider that.
What's the difference between RN and LP?
LPN, they usually go for 2 years program. Yeah, with RN, it's actually a degree program, so it's Bachelor in Science nursing. So if you are considering going to another program, you can say I have a Bachelor in Science, and you consider like any other Bachelor in Science.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the panelists? Let the guy behind you ask the question first, and we'll get to you. Wrong mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any hobbies that you use to make any
Yeah, something like that.
Hobbies that you use to make other money.
Photography?
Photography, I love photography. I made some money off it too. Not much, but a little bit. Anybody else have any hobbies that they make money off of? The creative.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Are there hobbies that you make money off of?
Oh yeah. Actually, I paid my way. It's funny, she was reminding me that I stole over her dress. I paid my way through pharmacy school by drawing portraits of people.
Oh,
So and it was a self-perpetuating business where I would draw one portrait, they'll put it up, and then they'll be like, oh, who did that portrait for you? And then I'll do that. And there were all these art festivals. Edmonton is festival city.
Yeah.
So it was all these art festivals. I would set up my little table. And this is maybe some of the first places in Canada where I was entrepreneurial. And I would figure out how to influence people to buy my merchandise. And actually my not-for-profit also started by selling dresses and art at an event. The first show raised $2,918.16. And it was the profit off of our sales. So that has been a thing. I do want to make a comment though, that there was something I think is peculiar about Cathy and your profession and all our professions that has to do with connecting to people. And so I think that they don't teach this in school, but it's super important that you have relationships in which you are whole. So you're not splitting yourself between the face of Morenike as the drug dealer pharmacist at work today versus Morenike the artist at home, that you are a whole person that connects with people. So this sort of event, meet people, connect with them afterwards, actually build a network. Because you notice something about what she said, there's this term called a sponsor that they don't teach you in school, but it's really important in real life to have sponsors that see you, mentor you, coach you, and pull you up through institutions. So beyond the career, there's something important about relationships, mentors, sponsors. And the last thing I'm going to say before I give the mic back is read books, read copiously, read broadly. Beyond the thing they teach you in class, nurture a habit of reading and actually reflecting, writing journals, learn from your own self what makes sense for you to be doing and bringing into this world. So I think we talk a lot about careers, but there are all these adjacent things that actually make you flourish in life that we don't talk about, that actually is important for you to make money as well. So yeah.
well, thank you. Awesome.
Just on that about your hobby, making money off your hobby. A lot of times if you start making money off your hobby, it doesn't become a hobby anymore, it becomes work.
Yeah.
And then it's not any fun. So be careful about turning your hobby into work. Because like I said, I love pictures, but then when somebody pays me for pictures, then they have demands. They want their pictures now, and they want this, and they want that, and they want you to do this. So just be careful about taking your hobby and making it into money. Do you want to say something about the hobby and the money?
Yeah, I want to say something about the hobby and money. Like, okay. Like myself, I did accounting back home, and it was from selling cakes when I was in the university, baking, and that actually led me into starting my own business back home, doing interior decoration. And after that, I think it became my job, a very big thing. And then when I came in here, even up till now, some people will still ask me, please Victoria, can you do cake for me, or can you do pie? I still do those things. And it's just by the way, before I went into building. And I still took something from there, from those designs, to take into my big buildings. So you can do both and then specialize in both too. But all you need to do is believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing. Trust yourself. Don't look at others.
Sure.
I just want to emphasize on what Morenike had said earlier on cultivating the habit of reading. I cannot overemphasize this. There is the library for you, and there's the used bookstore. You can get books for $3 at the Value Village if you don't have them at the library. It is very important that our kids read and read and read. The knowledge that you acquire is what will guide you through life. You can't, I don't know how to better say it. Read, read, read. Because it's important, because these kids, I have kids of my own, they spend all their time on social media and on their phones. And the habit of reading is dying. So I want to plead with you. I don't know how many people are Christians here, but they say in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, everyone is established. So I have witnessed what she already said. So let it be a reminder to you to read, read, read. Spend less time on your phone and on social media. It's going to take you nowhere.
Thank you.
Words of wisdom from people who are older than you. Okay. The other thing is that knowledge is portable. You know what I mean by that? Like if you learn something, it's in your head and you take it with you. So if you have a job over here and you learn something at that job and you quit and you go to another job, it's in your head what you learned from that other job. So all the learning that you get is all portable in your head, and knowledge is always in your head. And I'm going to ask you a question because you haven't said anything that much today. Why did you write a book? Maybe tell people why you wanted to be an author and why you wrote a book.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't really consider myself that good at writing before. I thought that I was just mediocre. But then I saw, like, when I read a book, I could picture a story in my head, and I thought that's an amazing thing to be able to do, that you can inspire someone with words on a piece of paper. So writing for me is a coping mechanism. Whenever I'm sad or happy, I just write about it. And I realized that I had collected a bunch of stories of my own that I could make into chapters. So I said, okay, let me just collect all of these, make it into a story that someone can read and then learn about. So like at the end of each chapter of my book, you'll find like a page dissecting what happened and what you can learn from those experiences. And I thought, if someone heard from a teenager like about teenage experiences, they're more likely to read it. So I thought, okay, if I could tell my parents something through this book, what would I say? And that's what I used to like plan each chapter, and that's sort of what's in it. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay, well, we're over here. You want to say something, young gun?
Okay, soon you'll be probably going to college or university, and I had and you know I had not done my high school here, so I didn't know like much about universities here, but probably some of the things that will probably help you during your start of the year or in your first or as you go on will probably be make it a habit to manage your time well. And someone once told me, make a timetable and follow it regardless of the priorities, because if you do, sometimes you may have like an assignment that's due soon, but then you plan on reading something. If you manage your time well and if you plan your time like really nice, you'll never have to have priority, and I think that really helped. So that's a point I wanted to make. And you put reminders on yourself and write notes, or just put a note in front of your computer or in front of your books. That is really helpful. And I'll make it a habit also to talk to advisors or your parents openly about something. If you don't really have, if you're confused about something, don't be ashamed, or don't be like, okay, no, that's not a big deal, but make it a habit to open up to your parents or to the advisors or anybody that's you're close to. And as well, and also make friends in class, because they're always a reminder that we have this assignment due on this day, or you also help each other. But that is if it's allowed by the lecturer, that you help each other during the assignments and stuff, because some lecturers do accept, some others do not like that. So yeah, that is probably some of the things that I learned as a student up to now. I know I'll probably be learning more later, but those are some of the things that I really wished I knew before I started.
Thank you.
Okay, those are some valuable words. Okay, hang on. We're getting over to the other side here. I neglected these guys over here. You wanted to say something for a while about IT, I think.
So I wanted to talk more about IT. Let me start by asking, who wants to go into IT in the room? Who wants to do computers?
Well, it's just in it for everything.
Okay, so I just want to clarify something because I realized, like I said earlier, the computer science field is very wide, and there can be confusion. Right now, everybody is holding a device. There's a phone with everybody, and people are doing things with it. Did you wonder how that came about? What is making your message go from a wireless device that you are holding to another person? So when we're talking about computer science or IT, there are two main branches. We talk basically about software and hardware. And the hardware is what actually is used to do the work that you want to do, but the software is what drives the hardware to do what it wants to do. So and then when you talk software, we have people that are programmers, we have people that deal with databases, because when you gather information, you store them somewhere. When you store information somewhere, for it to be, for you to be able to use it meaningful, you need it to be stored in a logical way. The database people do that. There's also those that manage the systems, connecting the system together, the network. A lot of us hear internet, we don't know what internet means. We don't know what intranet means. It is all about networking. Intra is within a place. Intranet means intra-networking, within one location. And inter is the one that is international. We call it, it's like you're saying international networking. So you have devices connected all over the world and all that. That is done by people that are also that have also done IT. So, and then there is support in IT too, where you support if somebody has an issue and can't use a device or doesn't know how things work, somebody has to provide the support. So it is a big field, it is a wide field, and we can look at different areas of it and get into it. The first thing you have to realize is that if you want to be a programmer, you have to be a logical person. You have to be able to think logically. And you have to be able to think logically, and you also have to be a patient person. You need to be able to sit down and put your thoughts down. That is what most programmers do. There's web designing, where you do digital media and design. If you are very good, like Mayor was saying, as an artist, you can also help design websites. We all know what has happened with the COVID. Almost all the brick and mortar stores are closing down. And a lot of shops are now on the internet. There are people who are building those sites for them. Those are also part of IT. So whichever one is your passion, there is a lot of things out there. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll just basically want to echo what everybody have said, but majority of it is you want to focus on your fundamental. Take your math seriously, your science, your English, it's the core. You cannot do anything or start a business without knowing your fundamentals. It may be tough, it may be difficult, you may struggle through it, but get it done. And it takes one at a time. If you don't know, there are so many resources around. Also, one thing you have to note is that you always have to think local. A lot of people want the glamour, but they don't want to do the work. So as it was echoed, your reading needs to be taken seriously. Your math needs to be taken seriously. By that, I don't mean in class. When you come home, just do more. And as you find also later on in life, not everything you do, you get paid for. Provide more service than you get paid for. And what you also realize that by doing that, you will become the future president, the CEO, the prime minister. They didn't start by getting paid from the get-go. And the relationship aspect, please always focus on quality people. People who will challenge you. People who want to make you become a better version of yourself. Meaning that be positive. Any and everything you write on social media, we cannot say you shouldn't, but whatever you do, make sure you're doing it to build people. Make sure that you're doing it to lift people up. And 10 years from now, you will be proud of it. And why you have to also do that is that nowadays, after university, I'm sorry, everybody will say they don't know you. They will look at what you have done, what you have written, how you think, how you communicate. All of those things are very important. But above all, I'm sorry to say, everything that you do, listen to your parents because they have the vested interest in you. I started out in life, not because I was smart, nor I had a connection or whatever, but it was the discipline. At 6 p.m., we had to put together an event. And it happens that I was the only person who wanted to make sure that at least the following day, the job was done. It was then the chief investment officer walked by and he said it wasn't right. In 2 weeks, I was the investment management division. So you see, it wasn't a function of me applying for a job, but it was that aptitude of me or trying to get things done, even if people leave it. So whatever your parents teach you at home, please don't say you know it more than them, or you learn it from social media, or don't try and even compare from your friends. Just do it. In Africa, there is or in the Bible they say, obey before you complain. Please, they have your best interests at heart.
Thank you for that. There was a question before we get more interactive is how can I resist peer pressure? And what is peer pressure? Peer pressure is your friends trying to get you to do something usually. And it's usually something that you know is wrong and you know is not right for you. So how do you resist that peer pressure? It's easy to swim downstream, but it's hard to swim upstream. So when all your friends or your peers are saying to do something that you know is wrong, you have to be a stronger person and you have to swim upstream and you have to walk away. And you also have to think, is this going to help me be a better person? And is this going to help me get to the goal where I want to go? And you know the answer, because usually that peer pressure is asking you to do something that's wrong. So you know what is right. So just resist it that way. Just be a stronger person. Okay, now we're going to go on to a little more interactive here. And we're going to ask some people, if you know, I'm looking right at you, what you want to be when you grow up. And if anybody in here can give you any advice about that. So what do you want to do? Do you have any idea? If you don't have an idea, say you don't have an idea.
Like maybe a fashion designer or like a software developer.
Cool.
Fashion designer or software developer? IT guy. There's one for you. What about the creative? That's fashion design, right?
I like it.
So do you know how you're going to get there? Go to school in Florence?
No, go to school like for fashion design, take fashion design courses, and then maybe like be an assistant like when I graduate from university.
What do you guys think? Think that's a good plan?
Yeah.
Okay, so what it is? What's the perfect thing he's got here? He's got a plan. He's got an idea. He's got some steps. He says, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do this. Okay. Now, what happens in life? It usually deals you some curveballs, and maybe you can't stick with the plan. So your plan has to change sometimes, but the goal doesn't change. So his goal may be fashion designer, But he may want to go here, but he may not have the money to go there, so he may have to go somewhere else that's cheaper, or he may have to go somewhere else. He may have to change his plan a bit. But he's got a plan. So that's the idea. Get a plan, and have a plan, and realize that it's going to change. How about you?
Maybe a doctor or orthodontist.
Doctor and orthodontist. Doc, you got any advice for him?
You can do it.
There you go. Anybody can do it.
You can do it.
You know the only person who's stopping you from doing what you want to do? That's it, you. That's it. That's the only person who's stopping you from doing what you want to do is you. Don't let anybody else tell you that you can't be what you want to be. Because they're going to throw a bunch of shade on you, and you got to do what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
This guy, I know he knows what he wants to do. What do you want to do?
I have no idea.
Okay, who wants to give this kid some advice? I think you should go into politics. Okay, you're covered. What about you?
I want to be a doctor, specifically a perinatologist.
A doctor and a what?
A perinatologist.
What is that?
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
It deals with high-risk pregnancies, the doctor.
There you go. There you go. Doc, got any advice for that? Did she do it? Yes.
You got it.
Got any ideas?
I was leaning towards psychology, but
You don't know. That's okay. You don't know. Lean towards something. You can always lean the other direction. You always change. What about you? Director of like movies? There you go, another creative. So what's your plan on that? What do you think you're gonna do? Heading to school in a few years and studying that. That's great. Just keep your plan, man. Anybody else?
You missed one guy here.
Hey, what do you want to do? Maybe somebody can help you. Pediatrician? Dog. You like kids? Is that right? It's great. There's a lot of kids out there to help too. Anybody else want to share what they want to do, what they want to be? Okay, go ahead.
I'm not really sure, but I know I want something chemistry related.
Chemistry related. Got any ideas? Chemistry related. Chemical engineering. What's chemical engineering?
It's not like chemistry, sorry. It's chemistry more than science.
Let's come insert the comic drug with us.
Yeah.
Make some active
Avoid the peer pressure. Does anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, there's someone here.
Oh, yeah, right there. Okay. Talk loudly.
I know I want to go into family law.
Great. Pretty specific. Family lawyer. So family law, sometimes you're what? Divorces, what else?
Sometimes parenting, sometimes it's child support, sometimes it's mediation, trying to make it all work. Sometimes it's getting them back together.
Okay. And why do you want to do that? You like helping people? That's great, that's super. And what's your plan? How are you going to do that? You're not sure? Well, just think about it. Take baby steps and head in that direction. Anybody else?
Cool.
Ah, damn, civil rights attorney. What inspired you to do that?
I think at some point in 8th grade, I just like, you know what? I just watched Suits. I was like,
You can do a lot of good things, people.
That is so funny. I know.
She likes working with the law. Okay, so we got a lot of lawyers. What are you doing, buddy? What do you think?
I want to be a real estate agent.
Cool.
Some heck of a lawyer right here. Realtor. That's doable. You don't have to have a university degree. You gotta have, I think you have a grade 12. You take a real estate course, it's about $1,300. You write the exam, boom, you become a realtor.
Make a lot of friends.
Make a lot of friends, yeah. It's a business where you talk to people. Anybody else want to say anything?
Engineering is not so bad. Come on, guys.
Engineers. Maybe you better prop up your profession a bit more. Maybe you want to talk a bit more about why they should be engineers. Why do we need engineers?
Yeah, so who likes to be part of solutions? Yeah,
Okay,
anybody?
there you go.
Okay, so I count 1, 2, 3.